Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Venus in the 10th house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, you first want to understand what sign is Venus positioned in. This is very important to understand for the functioning of Venus. Along with this, you want to understand, is Venus being aspected or conjuncted by any other planets? This will also alter the results of Venus. It's also important to understand which houses of your chart are ruled over by Taurus and Libra, as Venus will have a direct effect on these houses. Along with this, is Venus compatible with your ascendant lord? It's also important to understand that Venus will mature at the age of 25. So this is a very pivotal moment in the functioning of Venus in your chart. Along with during a Venus return, when Venus returns back to the original location where it was placed in your birth chart. The most important moment though is during a Venus Mahadasha. So if you have not seen my video on the Venus Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. So what does Venus represent? Venus is a planet of love, of beauty, of enjoyment, of the luxuries of life, all of the sensual pleasures. Venus is all about our happiness and enjoyment. Venus rules over the arts, music, dance, entertainment, drama. It is all about relationships. Specifically in a male's chart, Venus represents the wife, but in general, Venus represents all relationships that we have. Venus is also a signifactor of childbirth, and Venus is also the Shukracharya, which is the deity who is ruling over the Asuryas, so dealing with the hidden information, the teacher of the lower beings. So what does the 10th house represent? The 10th house is the house of karma. It represents the actions that we are carrying out within society. So it is also how society sees us. It is our reputation. It is our public persona. The 10th house is all about our career, our duties, our obligations that we take on within society. The 10th house also represents the father. It is your status, your legacy. It is how you leave a mark on this world. And so oftentimes the 10th house is connected with your career as well. So what happens when Venus enters into the house of your career? Well, sometimes this can give a creative career, but this is not necessarily the case. To see the career, you always want to look at where the Lord of the 10th house has gone. And along with this, you want to check the D10 Dasamsa chart. For the most part, Venus in this 10th house shows a love of career. So it is all about a profession where you put your heart, your passion into. It's about doing what you love. And here, Venus in this 10th house can give a real love of gaining a sense of status and reputation through one's career. So it is all about obtaining that position of authority, of power. But Venus is about relationships. It's about people. So here, this is all about gaining a position of authority in order to help others, in order to give people a pleasant experience. Venus is also very social in the workplace when it is positioned in this 10th house. So you enjoy the social life of being at work. You love to connect with the people who you work with, and you love social events that are related to your professional life. Sometimes Venus in the 10th house makes a person a good social event planner, or someone who is able to really create situations where you are bringing people together. You like this feeling of togetherness, again, specifically around the work or professional life. Venus here can make you a good leader because, again, you have a huge connection with people. So you make a great team leader. You do well with groups of people. Venus here also is a position that can give you a great deal of recognition from your workspace. But sometimes if Venus is not placed well, then you can find yourself in a position where you are constantly giving and serving to other people, and this can become a drain on you. So Venus in the 10th house can also indicate entrepreneurship if there are other things in the chart that support this. Venus isn't completely comfortable here because it is actually opposite to the house that he naturally signifies, which is that 4th house. house, where we find our luxuries, our comforts. This is where Venus really loves to be. It's exactly opposite to that house. So Venus here in this 10th house also creates a sense of restlessness and dissatisfaction in connection with the home environment. Sometimes Venus gives a desire to have a beautiful and comfortable home, but it also keeps you out of the home. You can be someone who is always on the move, always involved in your social life, and so there can be a huge desire to get out of the home, to travel. The 4th house naturally is the house of vehicles, so Venus looking at the 4th house from the 10th house position can give a desire to have beautiful and luxurious vehicles. And again, this makes you a huge traveler. You love to be on the go. You love to get around places with this position. And sometimes Venus here also can indicate, if you are a male especially, that you will find your spouse when you move away from your home country. You can also meet your spouse in a professional setting. So especially again, if you are a male, you may find that your spouse is someone who is very career oriented, someone who's very professional, very much invested and involved in their career. This is definitely a position that creates a sense of duty and purpose around relationships. So here this is a bit of a serious position. Oftentimes this is creating a situation where females are taking on more masculine traits, becoming more about authority and reputation once again. So this is really pulling you away from your home environment. This is giving a restlessness to move about, to take action in the world. Sometimes if Venus is badly placed, this also can create situations of scandals, of all sorts of affairs and underhanded situations around relationships in the workspace. So you want to be very careful of this. Sometimes if Venus is placed in a difficult position, you may also find that relationships are difficult to keep up with, that you're putting a lot of your energy and focus into your career life and finding it a drain to actually focus in on your relationships as well. So sometimes there's definitely a need to find a balance between work life. So this is very important to see, again, if Venus is in a difficult position. Sometimes you can face some jealousy or opposition through your workspace, again, if Venus is not placed well. For the most part, Venus here gives you great leadership abilities, great ability to work with others, and a drive to push for those higher positions.